Hey art snackers, welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, or in case you're new here, my name is Roxanne, also known as By Bun, and I'm a mixed media artist and illustrator. When my ArtSnacks Plus box arrived on my doorstep, I couldn't help but notice just how heavy it was this time around. There's something big in here. And it's what inspired me to take a little adventure. Well, an adventure around my house, that is. Haha! Grab your July box and get ready for a sketchbook safari because this is the ArtSnacks box breakdown. Welcome back to another box breakdown, the monthly video series where we take a closer look at some of the supplies and techniques found in the latest ArtSnacks box. And remember, when you see this icon appear on your screen, it means it's an ArtSnacks Plus item. As I hinted earlier, the July box felt pretty beefy, and that's because this month, we're getting a sketchbook. Now, before we delve into the details on this item, I want to share with you my plans for the ArtSnacks challenge. Since most of us are still spending a lot of time indoors, I wanted to create something inspired by things around my house. You know, sometimes inspiration just pops up, and other times, you gotta go looking for it. You'll see what I mean in just a bit, but why don't we go ahead and get started, shall we? Now let's talk about that sketchbook. This is the Grumbacher Hidden Wire Mixed Media Sketchbook. This 7x10" sketchbook is packed with 185 GSM mixed media paper made for both dry media and light washes. But the coolest part about this guy is the in and out pages. With its hidden wire spine, you can actually remove and then reinsert pages. This comes in handy if you're someone who prefers working on loose paper or want to easily move things around while painting or drawing. First things first though, I gotta break the seal on this thing and get a sticker in the front cover. To prep for my sketch, I'll first remove a sheet of paper. I'll then start drawing using an item from a previous ArtSnacks box, the Tombow Monograph Mechanical Pencil. This pencil is still one of my all-time favorites, and you can pick one up in the ArtSnacks shop. You'll see I'm putting my menu to use as I use it to create 4 boxes to sketch into. This is a handy way to capture some ideas without the pressure of filling up an entire page. I'm going to fill each one of these with a pattern. To get my inspiration stirring, I cruised around my house looking for some ideas. And that's where the safari part comes in, where just adventuring around your space and looking at things a little bit differently can sometimes start something in your sketchbook. So this is that part in the breakdown where I usually say, now that my sketch is ready, let's get some color into this thing. But not this time. Instead, we're first gonna do a really cool technique with our next ArtSnacks Plus item. And you guys, I'm pretty hyped about this one. Check out the Molotow Graphics Art Masking Liquid Pump Marker. This ready-to-use marker is full of a water-repellent masking fluid that once dry, you can cleanly rub off. This is a great way to carve out negative space or create clean edges. And I have to tell you, artist to artist, that sometimes using masking fluid can be a real pain. It's usually sticky and stinky and something you have to apply with a brush. But Molotow has made things super easy with this pump marker. You'll get to see this masking fluid in action as I progress on this illustration, but for right now, I'm applying it into my pattern designs wherever I want negative space. Now, before we move on, I'm gonna tell you something very important about masking fluid. Let it dry. Being patient and allowing for proper dry time is the most important thing with this stuff. Resist the urge to rush. Let it dry. Let it dry, let it dry, let your masking fluid dry. Voice of an angel, I know. Moving on. Once my masking fluid is totally super dry, I can now see it in action when I put some watercolor on top of it. Which, yes, spoiler alert, watercolor is the next layer of media that I'll be putting down. And in fact, I'll be using our next 2 items together. First up, this is the Daniel Smith Extra Fine Watercolor Stick. It's the same high quality pigments you know from Daniel Smith, but just in a different form. You can use this stick straight up for a texture kind of look, or water it down with a wet brush. You can even sharpen the end, save the shavings, and reuse it as paint. Although there's a lot of different ways to use these, I'll be applying them on a separate sheet of paper, wetting it with a brush, and then adding it to my illustration. Now I know you've barely seen that watercolor stick in action, but I have to talk about our next item because I'm gonna blend it into that gorgeous violet color. In your box this month, you're getting 2 Kuretake Zig Gansai Tambi watercolor pans. And this is not your average watercolor. These are high quality, professional level paints that are intense, smooth, and beautiful to blend. They are also especially opaque and differ from Western watercolor, so you can achieve a wide variety of color application. And you can see with that dark blue, I just had to mix it in with the Daniel Smith stick. And don't worry, I'll use that red hue in just a bit. With the cool tones in, I'm now going to use that second Kuretake Zig watercolor pan to fill in as a background color. Pairing those 2 cool tones together and the warm in the background, I've got some great contrast going on. And as I'm filling that background in, I've actually been using another item from this month's box that we haven't even talked about yet. To apply all this watercolor, I've been using the Kuretake Zig Brush 2.0 Petite Water Brush. Aw, just look at this little guy! This Amago water brush is super compact because you actually store the brush end into the barrel. And you've been watching me use it. Simply fill and give it a gentle squeeze to get the water flowing. With all my watercolor in, and when things are very, very dry, it's now time to remove all the masking fluid. To remove, simply rub away. Think of your finger like an eraser, and that the more dust actually collects under your finger, the easier it is to remove. And again, this only works well if things are really, really dry. Let it dry, let it dry. And bam, look at that crisp, negative space really giving a pop to my watercolor patterns. Even something as simple as small dots in the cacti really makes for a fun detail. With all the white details revealed, you can probably guess what I'm gonna say next. It all needs a black outline. Thankfully, our last item in the July box will allow me to do just that. Meet the brand new P8 fine liner from Plumchester. This ArtSnacks exclusive also happens to be a brand new product, part of the Plumchester line. It's got a thick 0.8mm metal encased nib, giving you bold and consistent lines. And one of my favorite features on this pen is the little window in the cap. Over on my illustration, I'll first outline the menu shape that holds each design. I'll then outline and detail all the watercolor patterns. With all those outlines in, I can now pop my illustration right back into my sketchbook. And there you have it, guys, the July ArtSnacks box. If you're new to ArtSnacks and want to start getting your monthly supplies, there's a link down below where you can sign up. Of course, while you're here, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe for future box breakdowns, join us for free over on Mix, and follow ArtSnacks on social media. This has been another ArtSnacks box breakdown, and I'll see you all next month. Bye! Oh yeah! Just look at this little guy. I can't believe I'm doing this. Ha ha! Oh yeah! Ha ha! Let it dry!